Well, hello there, Cancer. How are you? It is so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are doing your weekly tarot reading. This is good for the week of February 6th through the 12th. We'll take a look at the overall energies with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details. And if you're enjoying the content that I create, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, let's see what we have here. Be the real you. Your greatest power comes from being who you truly are. Don't let anyone sway you from expressing your authentic self. Okay, lovely energy there. And porcupine spirit, time for beginner mind. Yeah, I feel like you're almost like starting a new cycle, and it's kind of interesting because we had the full moon in Leo yesterday on the 5th. And, you know, that energy really helped us to release a lot of the things or blocks that are holding us back. There is this new fresh energy as we are moving forward now, kind of an energy of having a beginner's mindset. That means like erasing, if you will, all of, you know, what you have been thinking about for a little bit of a time, right? It's kind of like, okay, a beginner's mind does not bring along any of the baggage from the past, right? A beginner's mindset is looking at things with fresh eyes. But I feel like it's about looking at yourself with fresh eyes. This sense of looking at who you truly are. What do you really value, Cancer? You know, what is it that you really want to have? They're saying feelings. What emotions, feelings, experiences are you wanting to have? And to understand that this may mean you're looking at yourself in fresh eyes and beginning a new cycle with that sense of exploration and adventure. I would have to say that it's kind of a nice feeling. You know, it's I have to say, with the porcupine energy here, I kind of feel like you might be a little bit I don't want to say scared. It's maybe anxious, you know, is a better word. A little bit anxious because you're moving out of your comfort zone. That's the energy. You're moving out of your comfort zone. And I feel like you could be kind of excited about this. And yet at the same time, whenever we move out of our comfort zone, we have that sense sometimes of anxiety, you know, of wanting to put, I just have this sense you want to put these quills up and kind of protect yourself. So yeah, okay. So that energy is coming out a little bit. Yeah, friends and colleagues, I feel like your angels are coming in to help you to see. Once again, I'm going to put this down because true love is really about being able to look in the mirror and loving yourself, looking deeply within yourself, focusing on not the flaws, but focusing on what you really love about yourself, stepping into that energy, right? Of, oh my goodness, maybe I've never recognized before just how wonderful I am, how loving I am, how artistic I am, how creative I am, how funny I am, right? It's about taking time to kind of look at yourself with fresh eyes. It could be that you've been going through a spell where you have been kind of like going within and trying to transform yourself, right? Your thinking. You could feel it's almost like a sense of regrets about things that have happened in the past. So you could have spent some time here kind of in that energy, but it's time to now move forward. The porcupine is moving forward, right? With this new mindset. It's about focusing on what you love about yourself, Cancer. It's about focusing on that. And perhaps not quite so focused on what has occurred in the past. I really get that sense. So, you know, people that may have hurt you or, you know, situations that didn't go your way, disappointments along your path. It's kind of like, okay, I want a blank slate. I'm going to start new, but as I start new, I'm going to start with this fresh new energy. Yes. Wow. You have the Queen of Pentacles and the Emperor underneath. I really feel like for some of you, this could be either a family relationship or a romantic partner in the past, or perhaps like a parent or something like that. For some of you, it could be about, you know, an employer there's a sense here of, you have time to go, building blocks. Yeah, no place like home. This energy of you may have walked away from something in the past, right? It's this energy of going within. What went wrong? It's almost like you have the energy now of seeing what may have gone wrong in a relationship in the past and how you can build new connections, okay? Because you have friends and colleagues, you have great achievement. It's kind of like I'm going to put it this way. I feel like you want connections in your life, really good connections. You may have gone through a spell where you had difficult situations that came up in some relationships that were important to you. So that could have been, with your parents or your adult children. It could be, with coworkers, your employer. It could have been friends and family. It could have been with your spouse or significant other, right? And it's kind of like, okay, I went through this spell. There is this sense. I went through this spell where I was having these difficult relationships. And it's like, okay, I went within, I looked in the mirror, and I think for some of you, you may have focused on I'm going to say you were focused on maybe the flaws of the other people in those difficult relationships and the flaws within yourself. I think you went inside and you kind of looked at yourself too, right? But it's time to kind of I feel like you've gained the information, the wisdom that you needed by doing that inner reflection, right? And that is how we re-evolve. So you've done that. Now it's kind of like, okay, you don't want to stay there, right? Because if we dissect every single situation and relationship, then it's kind of like, you can dissect it, gain the wisdom, and then move on. But if you stay in that energy of just dissecting it over and over again, you're just kind of stuck in dissecting, right? And you never move on to a new relationship or mending past relationships, right? You just stay stuck in that, it's kind of like an energy that a little bit of that just turmoil, just kind of like regurgitating over and over again, the bad things that have happened. This is an energy of, okay, now that I've looked at the flaws of myself and perhaps somebody else or a relationship, now I'm going to go back and look at the love, the wonderful things about me, but perhaps even the wonderful things about people that maybe you have even walked away from. Because when we can get to that point, okay, when we have not started our healing, we blame others. When we have started our healing, we blame ourselves, right? But when we can get into that point where we blame no one, we're willing to be able to see things in a different way, in a new way, and move forward. We're willing to forgive what has happened, and then also to see the silver lining, the wisdom in what has happened in the past. Then you can move forward in this beautiful energy. And that's what I think you have done, Cancer. You may have gone through those periods of blaming others, then blaming yourself. But now you're coming into this energy of, wait a minute, I'm not blaming anybody. It's been part of the path. It's been part of your path. It's been part of their path. But there's also this energy of now embracing this mindset of, I'm not looking at the flaws or even kind of almost projecting situations from the past on new people that might come into your life. I'm looking at life in this wonderful porcupine spirit of just embracing new people on your path. And I feel like some of you may even be looking back at past relationships that didn't work out, right? But seeing the good in that. It's about looking at things in a loving way, through the eyes of love instead of the eyes of hurt, right? Because here is your present energy. Yeah, understanding that maybe you have been in this sense of consciousness of lack for a long time, kind of in that energy of looking at what hasn't worked for some time, or the flaws of yourself or others for some time. right? And it is a rut that we can get into. It's this energy of, wait a minute, you're being called to see the light. At the end of the day, they're saying the light, right? It's a judgment day. You can judge. Are you going to stay in this energy of kind of judging others and judging yourself from this sense of what's wrong or what are the flaws? Or are you going to kind of say, wait a minute, I'm going to embrace myself and everybody on my path with this new energy of looking at for the love in the people that come onto my path. And I feel like that is what your higher self is calling you to do. You know, our higher self wants us to see the love and light in other people. You know, it's about embracing the fact that, you know, everybody is on their journey. You know, our paths intertwine, but everybody has, you know, when you get down to it, you have your lessons to learn. They have their lessons to learn, and kind of stepping into that energy of, isn't this really cool that we're here at Earth School and we're all kind of learning our own lessons, and yet at the same time, we're coming together and embracing each other's paths, at least for some point, you know? And maybe it is, you know, okay, maybe you don't want to reconnect with somebody from the past, but it's also about looking at the grace in that person, you know, the good that they did bring in your life. Yeah, I think you've been blocking this for some time. It takes courage, you know. I think you've been blocking it for a long time because, you know, when we're hurt, it's really easy to sit there and say, okay, I'm putting up a wall and I'm not letting that person back into my life. And of course, we're not talking about, you know, if somebody has been truly toxic or abusive, of course, you cut them out. But we're talking about other relationships, right? Because we gain our most evolution through our relationships. So when we just continue to cut people out of our life, we're not truly evolving. It's about understanding, okay, how we relate to other people, the lessons that we can learn with that. And so I feel like that is what you have been blocking for some time, because it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of courage. Look at this. You have, yeah, I feel like for some of you, you're stepping into kind of being a spiritual leader, helping other people to see how instead of just cutting out relationships, you're stepping into an energy of, okay, how can I make my relationships loving and long-term, committed? How can I commit myself to having relationships with people instead of just like cut and run, right? And it's, you know, I think it, you know, you probably had some people on your path that really hurt you, right? And then we kind of, you know, build those walls in order to protect ourselves. And that is, for some time, a good strategy. You know, you go within, you do the healing. I feel like this is an energy of letting you know, Cancer, you've done the healing. It is time to come out. You know, you've done the introspection. You've seen the other side of this. It's time to bring balance back into your life. Balance in your relationships. Understanding that if we just continue to cut people off, eventually we have no one in our life. And then we're in that energy of also not having any joy and love. We can find that within ourselves. But think about, you know, stepping back into some relationships, okay? And I feel like it is going to take some courage. It's interesting because we had the Leo energy here with the Strength card. We had the full moon in Leo yesterday. And then we have the Libra energy here, okay? It's just a sense that, you know, Libra is all about peacemaking. It's not about giving up what is truly valuable to you in order to keep a relationship going. You've learned that. It's not about people pleasing, right? It's about standing in your strength, being the real you, but also understanding that allowing other people in your life to also have that grace to be there, who they truly are. Wow, that's kind of profound, right? If we want others to have grace and allow us to be our true self, we also have to allow others the grace to be them, who they are, their core values, right? Yeah, I feel like, this is probably more for situations with people in your life, that maybe like family members or coworkers, people that, you spend a lot of time with and sometimes can get annoying. It's that friction. I'm feeling like this energy of friction. But just understanding, coming back to, they're on their path. I feel like you're kind of stepping into this energy of being the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a spiritual leader, right? Of being able to see things, to understand the spiritual journey in a higher level, and being able to allow people to follow their path the way that they are meant to follow their path. Really, I feel like I'm not articulating this correctly. It's very profound, because your obstacle is, look at this. You have deep knowing, intuition, and manifestation, and then the Three of Wands. It's almost like you've been waiting to come to this point for some time, to see things in this different direction, right? With the Three of Wands, she's looking out over the water. Your sign, you're a water sign, kind of looking out over the water, seeing things in a different light. I feel like for some of you, you may have transformed quite a bit over the last 6 months with that full moon in Leo, I feel like, oh my goodness. Yeah, look at this. You have Hierophant, you have the Knight of Wands, you have the Queen of Wands. I feel like there is this sense of knowing, okay, wait a minute, I have to go back and look at this situation again. This could be a situation from the past, could have been in a marriage. It could have been with the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. I mean, the Knight of Wands here. And then we have the King of Wands. It could be a family situation, right? It's kind of like, this could be a parent-child. Doesn't have to be. It could be, somebody that is older or above in rank from, you, or vice versa, right? But it's kind of like, okay, wait a minute. What is this commitment here? You may have cut and run, or somebody else may have cut and run out of this connection. But there's, seeing this in a different perspective. Wait a minute. Intuitively, I know that we're meant to work on this connection in some regard with a beginner's mind, Okay, so let's take a look. Yeah, I feel like you're kind of stuck. You're kind of stuck in a rut of looking at the situation in one way. It's about switching your mindset from the flaws in a relationship or the flaws in a person that you have been distanced from, or the flaws in yourself. It's just like shifting the mindset from the flaws to the love. Because, and then we have the Magician popped out. Okay, Gemini energy. Let's see. And there you are. You're showing up. Yeah. Okay. Interesting, because you have the Devil energy, Capricorn energy, Justice coming out again, and the Lovers. And then we have the Lovers here. It's kind of an energy of having a new life, looking at this situation in a different way. I feel like you have been looking at it, kind of attached to looking at this situation in one way, but it's kind of stuck your energy. It's time to say, okay, wait a minute. What do I truly believe about myself and these people? Looking at it once again in this kind of a very spiritual way of understanding that everybody in this situation has been on their own spiritual path. You may have gone your separate ways, but it's kind of like, okay, but that is not the mindset that we have to keep. It's about checking in on the healing process, right? Of knowing, this has a lot of difficult energy in it. right? But that difficult energy is exactly what is helping you with your spiritual evolution. Moving forward, yeah, we have the Empress energy here. You know, this is Libra energy, lots of Libra and Gemini and Cancer. You're showing up in your own reading, being able to move forward in a very loving way. You know, no longer holding back. No longer holding back your feelings. You could have been holding back your feelings for a very long time, especially if you're resonating with having walls and closing people off, right? In order to protect yourself. That is part of the process, right? You've done that, right? And you went within, you did some healing, and now it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready to move on. But instead of being in the Four of Pentacles energy, right? Instead of feeling stuck, instead of concentrating on the flaws of people, I'm moving forward with this Empress energy, which is really just such a loving, intuitive, you know, allowing energy. There, I feel like that, you know, there is, you know, once again, if it's an abusive situation, this does not count, right? This is a situation where people got sideways, okay? Somehow people got sideways. And it's kind of like understanding that that was part of the path for everybody in your soul tribe, whoever that is, right? And because I feel like there is a dynamic here of either work-related people or family-related people. Once you realize, okay, wait a minute, that was part of the path, and then looking at this, not from the sense of flaws, right, but from the sense of love, it just changes the mindset and the energy of these relationships. Really interesting, Cancer. Okay. Well, I'm sending you much love and hugs for this. I feel like you're kind of, you know, really at the forefront of, you know, out of all my readings, I feel like you're kind of at the forefront for these connections, whatever these connections, you know, mean to you. You know, I feel like out of all my readings, you really and truly are the sign that is being called to do this healing of the heart energy, you know. And I do feel like you had the Leo energy showing up, and I can't find it right now, but you know, that energy of having the strength and the courage to see this in a different way, and perhaps to be a leader for others that are on your path or in this group, to being the leader, to help kind of be the teacher that helps them to see this in a different light too. Wow, really interesting. Cancer, I do personal readings. So if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. So let's take a look at your soul truth card. How can I infuse more self-love and compassion into my daily life? Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to say right off the bat, that comes back to this beginner's mindset. I feel like you have been somehow kind of stuck in the rut of looking at things, because we had the stuck, here it is, stuck in the rut of looking at the situation perhaps from what went down. Let's just put it that way, right? Whatever went down. But it is about waking up and saying, okay, wait a minute, I'm going to look at this with new eyes. And, you know, we have to remember, forgiveness is not about condoning the actions of anyone involved in this situation, right? Forgiveness is really about our own healing, about allowing ourselves to release what has happened, right? And to step into this beginner's mindset of starting anew, but starting with fresh, loving eyes, instead of looking for flaws, right? Because you had the judgment. Instead of looking for flaws, you're looking for the love and light in the people in this situation. But I also feel like for new people that come onto your path too. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there. I really do wish you so much love and light, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.